Kara McComb, and I am a Liaison and Recruitment Officer for Northern College, and I look forward to connecting you with our academic deans, program coordinators, and advisors. Today we have Aaron with us. Hi, Aaron.
Hey, Kara, how are you?
Good, thanks. Thank you for being a part of our Staying Connected to Northern series. Could you let our viewers know who you are and what you do for Northern College?
Sure. So as Kara mentioned, my name is Aaron Klooster. I'm the Dean of Trades, Technology, and Apprenticeship at Northern. And so I oversee programming in the more the STEM-related fields as well as trades and apprenticeship.
Perfect. So as the Dean of Trades, Tech, and Apprenticeship, could you please tell me what your programs are within your academic area and what programs they are that are available at each campus and if available through distance learning?
Sure, yeah. So I actually have quite a few programs, so I'm not sure if it was mentioned earlier and if our viewers would know this, but we have 4 campuses at Northern, and I actually have programs that are operating at 3 of the 4 campuses right now. So if we start maybe in the farthest south campus, if we'll start in the Hillybury campus, which is just outside of a town called New Liskeard or Temiskaming Shores. So at that campus, I actually have 2 programs that run. I have the Mining Engineering Technician program, and I have the Instrumentation and Control Engineering Technician. It's a bit of a mouthful, that one. We call it Instrumentation. So that's a 2-year diploma as well. In terms of online programming at that campus, the mining program is entirely online. That's one of the very few programs of its kind in the country. And of course, that's offered through the Hillybury School of Mines, which is possibly one of the oldest mining schools in Canada, maybe even the world. It's over 100 years old. And again, that program can be done completely online with a 2-week field school component that's offered in the spring semesters. So we get a chance to do some hands-on activity. It's really geared for people who are trying to get a foothold in the mining industry, which is, of course, a booming industry right now. But it's also meant for people who are already in the industry and looking to improve their position or to move up in their respective companies. Instrumentation, very interesting program, extremely good employment possibilities at the end of that, and extremely lucrative employment at the end of that as well. And we have a very good reputation in the instrumentation program for producing really high quality graduates. In fact, it's not uncommon for just about every graduate by the time spring rolls around to pretty much already have jobs lined up. They're getting hired before they've graduated. So it's an important thing to mention, I feel. So those 2 programs are my Hillybury options, and then we would move over to Kirkland Lake, which is just a slightly farther north. And in Kirkland Lake, I have the nationally recognized School of Welding Engineering Technology, which really is, I would say, one of, if not the premier welding school in all of Canada, possibly one of the best ones in North America, if not the best. And certainly world-renowned for producing excellent graduates as well, too, for that program. So in those offerings in the welding school, we have 2-year and 3-year welding engineering technician and welding engineering technology co-op and standard stream options. And then we also have the trades-based program welder fitter, which is a compressed 3-semester diploma. Which gets you a mechanical technician, a welder fitter diploma, plus all 3 levels of the welder and metal fabricator trade school. So it's a little bit complicated, but there's a lot of bang for your buck coming out of those programs. And of course, highly employable. Those trades are, and the engineering side of it as well, in demand like you wouldn't believe. So certainly most graduates are gainfully employed before they leave as well. And then we move up to Timmins. So Timmins, of course, is our largest campus of the 4, and it is the campus that I have the most programming at. So bear with me, we'll go through each area. I'll try not to spend too much time on any one area. But so at the engineering programming at the Timmins campus, we have, so this would be the technology programming, we have civil engineering technician, which has just undergone bit of a transformation from a compressed 3-year diploma to a standard 2-year diploma. And that we're looking to have that on offer for September, possibly only available for international audiences at that point. But then the following year, we're hoping that domestic students could come into that program as well. So there's a civil program. We have the mechanical engineering 2 and 3 year options. So 2-year diploma and 3-year technology advanced diploma. That advanced diploma is run through the Northern Colleges Collaborative Program with 4 other colleges in Northern Ontario. And we team teach that. So there's a little bit of this kind of interaction, video interaction that happens in a program like that. So that's our mechanical programming. Then we move over perhaps to computer engineering. So we have the 2-year computer engineering technician diploma, which really develops skills for network administration. It's based on Cisco Academy. So students are able to write their Cisco certifications after that, and potentially some other certifications as well, depending on what coursework they partake in. In that same computer engineering vein, we have the mobile applications graduate certificate, so mobile applications development, which we just launched this past year.
I was going to say, that's a new one.
That is a new one, yeah, and we launched that mostly to an international cohort, but I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe it is available to domestic students as well, and that program typically starts in January, so it's a January intake program. And it's meant for people who are looking to develop mobile apps or to get into that industry, who might have some programming background already or who might have some business acumen. So it really is a grad cert. It's meant to build on what existing knowledge was already there. So that takes care of our computer engineering and our mobile apps field. Let's move over to electrical engineering. In the electrical engineering side of things, we have the 2-year electrical engineering technician diploma. We also have the electrical engineering technology advanced diploma. Again, high quality, excellent programming, graduates finding employment all over Ontario and possibly even all over Canada. I'm sure we have international graduates that are working all over the map at this point. In that programming area. A lot of students take that programming because they're interested in becoming trades electricians. Even though it's not directly related, they don't necessarily receive credit for their levels for that program. It's a really good stepping stone to get into an apprenticeship. And I know a lot of our industries up here in our backyard really look for that college diploma if they're going to take someone on as an apprentice. So it's not a bad thing to have in the back pocket. So let's move on to from electrical. Trying to do this in my head here. I have all of these. Let's go over to mining again. So we do actually offer the mining engineering program at all of the campus sites plus online. So we do have it in Timmins as well. But one other thing we have in the Timmins campus for mining is the mineral exploration techniques 1-year certificate, which is really an entry-level job into a very, very interesting part of the mining cycle, which is exploration. And so this is an area where, you know, we feel that there was a bit of a lack of skilled training available. And so we're really trying to fill the gap there and prepare people for working out in the field, effectively staking claims and potentially, you know, looking for gold and minerals out in the bush, all the way through to working processing drill core and whatnot in a processing facility. So very, very important part of the mining industry, and also very, very interesting way to get into that career stream as well with 1 year of study. So that program is also available online. It's important to mention that with the field school, same model as the mining program. So it's something that I think is important to keep in mind. So let's move over to trades related programming now. I think we got all of our tech programs in there. Let's move over to trades. So in the trade side of things, we have a multi-use trade shop that was built just over 10 years ago. So it's a relatively new building still. And out of that trade shop, we actually offer three major industrial trades. The first one being millwright, so mechanical technician, industrial millwright. That's a 2-year diploma. Again, with all of our trades, the diploma that you get here at Northern actually counts for all 3 levels of the related apprenticeship standard. Okay, so that means that if you take the millwright technician, for example, here, or auto or heavy equipment, and you finish it, when you go and get apprenticed as a millwright, you don't have to go back to trade school, and that's a huge plus for employers, a huge plus for employees as well, because it saves you from having to be off work for a little while, and then you get to focus on the hands-on part on the job as well. So that millwright program is 2 years, as mentioned. We have a similar program for heavy equipment. So the heavy equipment technician program is also a 2-year program. I should mention with those 2 programs, there is 1-year options for those that would get you a techniques diploma in either of those trades. that techniques diploma actually accounts for level 1 of the related trade. And some people take advantage of that, the exit point at year 1, because they might get apprenticed that summer in their summer jobs, and then they end up taking that opportunity to take advantage of one level and then maybe get into the workforce. And that's all we're really concerned about. We want people to be gainfully employed at the end of their experiences here. So it's important for us to have that pathway. And then we move over to automotive service. So we have a motive power technician automotive service, which is, again, that's a protected trade. So if you're interested in getting into being an auto mechanic, programs like this are the thing to get into. And again, all 3 levels covered in the 2-year diploma. So you don't have to go back to trade school when you get apprenticed as an auto mechanic. Pretty sure that's all of them. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I missed, but I think that's it. I know it's a lot, and I have more program areas than most of the other departments, but I think we got them all.
No, it's good that you touched on all of them and explained a little bit about each. So I think that's good. Okay, awesome. Thank you. So what would you say makes Northern's programs, and you did talk about this a little bit, but what would you say makes those programs and the learning experiences different or more unique than those at the other colleges?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think if the first thing that comes to mind, if I was to say one thing, you have to remember in the college sector, and this is typically true for all colleges, it's certainly true for Northern in my experience, we're employing people who are coming right from industry. Generally speaking, the people teaching you have had a foot in industry or still do up to the time when they go to teach you. And so there's a really good connection there. And I think really the number one thing that pops into mind is the strength of that faculty experience and the strength of what that faculty brings to the table. But it's that connection to industry. And I think that's where Northern kind of, especially in the trades and the tech area, really kind of sets itself apart. Is we have very, very strong connections to industry. And what that means for you as a potential student, if you're coming into a program like this, is that we can actually facilitate some bridge building for you there. We can facilitate some connections. And that is very, very important. I can't stress how important that is for when you're looking for, that first job or that new job. You need to have that. Someone needs to kind of go to bat for you for that. And we do that in, like you wouldn't believe, that's our number one goal. And in fact, pretty proud to say, and I'm sure this has been mentioned, it's on the website, I'm sure of it, and maybe even the other deans are mentioning this in their interviews, but we were number 1 for employer satisfaction in the province of Ontario last year. That is no small feat when you're considering the size of Northern College and the 24 or 23 other colleges in the system. We're pretty proud of that, and I think that just is a testament to this connection that we have with our industry partners.
Awesome. So from these programs that you oversee, what type of pathway opportunities would a potential student have? And how about job opportunities after graduation?
Sure. Well, we mentioned job opportunities, and of course, when we take a look at Northern College in general, especially in the tech and trades areas, we're servicing a couple of major industries here. Of course, the mining industry is of huge importance to us here in Northeastern Ontario. It's number 1 employer in a number of these centers that we typically service, and there are jobs in mining right now. It is a booming industry right now. And that's important to remember because things are looking pretty good for mining for the foreseeable future. So if we take that kind of thing and kind of put that aside, we look at all of the programming that we offer, really, it all kind of works into that mine service and supply or directly into the mining industry. And so if you take a look at the instrumentation and mining programs in Haileybury, for example, not uncommon for students to end up working obviously in that type of industry, but other industries as well too. Any kind of industrial setup is going to need instrumentation technicians, forestry, mining, processing, manufacturing, you name it, they have them. And so that's a real big touch point for us there. If we look at Kirkland Lake's welding program, I mean, our graduates from the welding programs work all over the country. There are 2 major shipbuilding contracts going on right now on either coast. And I can pretty much tell you from one coast to the other in every single province, you will find Northern College welding engineering graduates working in relatively high-level positions in these companies. Not to mention tradesmen that are working on these shipbuilding contracts right now as we speak, and they're asking us for more. So we know there are jobs in this industry. Not to mention, the standard industries that we have in our own backyard. So this is really a national and even international job. I believe one of my faculty members, if I'm not mistaken, worked all over the world, like literally Middle East, China, Korea, you name it, with that welding engineering technician diploma, just because of that skill set. So I think that's an important thing to remember, that these are not just pathways to jobs in your backyard. They can be, but these jobs are careers that take you all over the world. These are really global, international careers we're talking about, and it's a highly skilled type of environment that, you know, you would have to have that skill set to get into that. Some of the other ones that we take a look at, of course, trades are hugely important to us right now. There's a lack of skilled tradespeople in the province right now, and we're really trying to fix that. And so with government support and with the efforts we're putting in our trades programming, even looking to expand the amount of programming we have. We didn't really touch on apprenticeship programming necessarily, but there's opportunities there as well too. So we're looking at pathways that way as well. And of course, you know, there's gainful employment in all of the trades right now across the country. So we certainly can service people to get to that pathway as well too.
Oh, I just wanted to touch on, how about articulation agreements? Are there any that stick out for you that would be worth mentioning?
Yeah, for sure. We have a few. Like I think a couple of the major ones that we have, of course, I'll touch on the Queen's BTech. The BTech in mining at Queen's University was actually co-developed with help from Northern College. So we were partners in the development of that program. And it really took the tenets of what we had in the 2-year mining program and built off that as an online BTech at Queen's University, which of course is one of the most respected universities in not just Canada and I think North America and possibly the world over. So that's an important one to remember, the BTech, which you can access with any of the 3-year diploma offerings at the college, not to mention the 2-year mining program. So in 2+2, with a small summer bridge, you can actually have a 4-year Queen's diploma from anywhere in the world, from sitting at home, working anywhere in the world. So that's a really cool one. The other ones I'd say for the engineering side, we really look at that degree completion pathway that's offered through Lakehead University, which we've annually sent students through pretty much perennially. We've done this every year. So in that offering, students take a 3-year advanced diploma and they finish off the rest of their degree at Lakehead. It typically takes about 3 years to do that. But in a 2+3 or 3+2, sorry, it's a 2-year diploma or 2-year pathway at Lakehead. So in a 3+2, 5 years, you can end up walking out with a bachelor's of engineering, which then is recognized by PEO, so you can work towards your professional engineer's license. Yeah, so it's a huge thing for us. I mean, not a lot of people know that you can start your engineering career at colleges and finish at a university partner, and end up with that full-fledged engineering career. Now, having said that, even pathways outside of the country, we have a number of pathways that we look at. Some of the articulations we have with schools in Ireland, for example. I had a student not long ago that left our instrumentation program upon graduation to take up a spot at, I believe it's, I want to say Tralee, but I'm not really sure. I can't remember. Cut this part out of the interview there, Kara. So we do have articulations at other colleges as well, too.
Awesome. Okay.
Oh, so, Sligo. Sorry, it was IT Sligo. That's the name of the college university in Ireland. Yeah.
Okay, last question. If there was something that you could share or let others know about your programs in Northern College, what would it be and why?
I want people to understand, I think there's this misconception, right, about colleges in general. And Northern obviously falls into this sort of, people having these preconceived notions about what college can get you later on in life, okay? Mm-hmm. And I think people need to understand that is maybe that is a misconception, this sort of preconceived notion that they have, that they'd be career limiting themselves by taking college programming as opposed to university programming. And I can honestly tell you, as a university pathway person, I went through university pathway, very traditional, didn't really look at college. I look at it now through a different perspective, working at a college and sort of being in charge of some programming here. And I can tell you the opportunities that a college can provide for you in terms of earnings potential, career satisfaction, overall general happiness with what you do with the rest of your life. I think
connections.
Absolutely. And the colleges provide that. And that's something that, I know a lot of university grads who didn't do anything with the degree they went to university for and went back to college to get their actual career. And I think that's not uncommon. And certainly Northern, if you take a look at some of our niche programming areas, especially in my areas, I have some very niche programs, right? Our welding programs are, I would say, small in terms of numbers, but servicing a relatively small niche of expertise that is in demand, right? Which is hilarious to me that we can't put enough of them out there in the world. But I mean, that career potential is staggering, what you can end up doing with that. And I'm floored by that. And I wouldn't say this lightly. I have a 10-year-old son, and he's into math and science and engineering. And, you know, I look at that welding program and I think to myself, that might be something that I want to maybe get him on his radar, even though he's only 10. It's something we want to start him thinking about down the road, because we know that it could lead to a very, very lucrative and satisfying career. And I think Northern is full of programs like that. That's the best part of it, is that we're hidden away in Northeastern Ontario with some niche programming that leads to these kinds of opportunities. And we're really trying to get that message out to the world, right? And I think that's what people need to hear. It's that it doesn't always have to be university. It could be college, and it could be very, very good for you if it is college, and that's important.
So thank you so much for this interview. We look forward to following up with your program coordinators to learn more in depth about each of their programs and to let our potential students have a greater insight on their studies and opportunities.
Perfect. Thanks, Kara.
Thank you. Okay, viewers, be sure to view all of our interviews that will be posted on our website and our social media platforms. And if you have any questions, please email us at admissions@northern.on.ca. Have a great day.